Wow, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder continues to be disrespected by Team Tyson Fury. Team Tyson Fury is still talking about a fantasy fight, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. And I'm going to talk about that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Throw a like on the video. It goes a long way when you at home, put a like on the video. If you like boxing, that's a great indication to show others, it's not just about you, but also to show others that this may be content that they are looking forward to. The Sweet Science Boxing. I'm your host, Ego. This is your one-stop shop for all your boxing needs. Now, link in the description. You see it on the screen. It says Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua fight location will, quote, depend on the Rona, as Frank Warren casts doubt over a possibility in staging in the UK. Now, right off the bat, something that is exceptionally weird is Tyson Fury is supposed to be fighting Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, which is why you've seen the title. Wilder continues to be disrespected, and why are we even talking about the premise of another fight when Tyson Fury, we were supposed to have the fight yesterday, July 24th. This article came out July 22nd. So why are we even talking about what's next when Joshua, it was just announced that he's fighting against Alexander Usyk, which is a gold medalist. You can't overlook there's 2 gold medalists. You can't overlook that. And Tyson Fury just pulled out of a fight, right? Just weird behavior from the UK. And it's like, I'll give some of my thoughts in a second. Frank Warren admitted Rona will dictate where a fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua will take place, but put doubt whether it would be in the UK, right? Which, I don't know why that keeps popping up. Everyone had hoped we would finally get to see an all-British heavyweight battle between Anthony Joshua and Fury this summer, but plans were scuppered when the Gypsy King was forced to fight Deontay Wilder, something he still hasn't made good on that promise and that win for Wilder and his legal team, right, in the arbitration. That was due to what happened this month. Fury tested positive for Rona, and the bout was pushed back to October. Joshua is due to face Usyk, which I just told you guys. Any hopes that it would take place in 2021 have now disappeared. And this is funny because this is the same people, Tyson Fury, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, Anthony Joshua, and Eddie Hearn, and Barry Hearn, 6 people all involved in this fiasco that made you at home believe that Joshua Fury was going to happen this year. And then now, as you see, they're saying it won't happen. How could it? If Tyson Fury just pulled out the Wilder fight for July and they pushed it all the way back to October, then how are they going to fight? How are they going to get it done? You know what I mean? There's only 2 more months after October, November, December. And Joshua has a September fight. We don't know how difficult that'll be. Usyk is pretty crafty. He hasn't looked the best at heavyweight, but nonetheless, it's still a gold medalist he's fighting. And then Tyson Fury got to get past Wilder, who a lot of people think he cheated against. It's looking bad for old media. It had looked likely that Saudi Arabia would host the bout, but Warren, who co-promotes Fury, said a lot of factors will dictate where it takes place if both fighters get through their upcoming fight, which is, again, the question I posed early on. Why are we even surmising what coulda, shoulda, woulda happened if this is what's wrong with boxing? This right now, what I'm about to read, is what's watering down boxing. This very behavior. Talking about fights when you already have scheduled fights. Talking about a fantasy fight before it can become a reality. In general, just talking. Why talk about it? Don't talk about nothing. Do the behind the scenes stuff and keep it pushing. Frank Warren says, no one can predict what will happen with the Rona. You think about what has happened in the last few days. We had a situation where the numbers are rising. We are moving to winter unless we go to Cardiff and put the roof on. There is no other stadium that you could put a fight on in the winter, right? They are anticipating Rona is going to be strong this winter. That's what they are saying, right? It keeps changing and evolving. Half of Australia has just shut down. Israel, who everyone was looking at and saying, look how well they're doing. They've had massive cases there, right? Goes on to say it's happening everywhere. At the end of the day, what has to happen is we've got to go with the flow and take advantage of what is around when the two guys fight. I hope by the time the guys fight that Rona has been beaten and we are in a much safer place and we can look at our options and what they are. First of all, we've got guys to win their fights. Joe Joyce has to win, blah, blah, blah. Anything can happen with these big guys. One punch, bang, it's all over. I've seen that happen. I mean, he added, it means immediately after the fight, Joe will be the mandatory. When that mandatory is due, the winner will have to fight him. If AJ gets through, we want to see AJ versus Tyson fight, providing Tyson Fury gets through Wilder, which I hope and believe he will. That almost is an oxymoron. I hope and believe he will. So you either believe he will get past Wilder or you hope he will. That doesn't really go together. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like saying, oh, I hope I get this job. I believe I'll get this job. It doesn't really sound that confident to me. There needs to be a bit of patience, but Tyson's in a real good position. We work hard to get him there. Or Joe Joyce, he can't slip away. And he didn't. He beat Joe Joyce, beat Carlos Takam. Now, as I've stated, this looks bad. Deontay Wilder continues to be disrespected. Just from this face-off photo, you could tell Wilder's not playing around. Wilder also was not the person who was not ready for the July fight. It was in fact Tyson Fury who later said, don't blame me, it's not my fault. Yes, sir, it is your fault. This is your team. This is what went on in your camp, allegedly. Some people don't even believe it happened, and you don't want to take any accountability for it. But Wilder continues to be disrespected here. They're talking about what could, should, would happen if both fighters get past. So just listen to what I'm saying and then listen to what Frank Warren's saying and tell me what makes the most sense. The man just told you guys that one punch can change everything, especially in the heavyweight division, and that he's seen it. Yet he's even talking about what's to come with Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, but he just told you one punch can change everything. And Fury has to get past the man you see on the screen, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, and Joshua has to get past his gold medalist, Alexander Usyk. So it's real frivolous and asinine to even be talking about what's next when these are perceived as dangerous fights, in my opinion, for both fighters. And I don't know what the major malfunction is with the UK and the UK boxing scene, but the UK is looking bad right now. It's like, one more week, mate. Like all this one more week and constantly talking about fights before the fights are to unfold and talking about what's next. Like it just sounds disrespectful to the opponents, Usyk and Wilder. And it's just a waste of everybody's time. And you would think that these guys would learn from doing it before and promising that Joshua and Fury were going to fight already. You would think that they would learn from it and just be like, oh, okay, maybe I should just keep my trap shut and not taunt the fans and not give the fans false hope in these situations. But they just keep doing it. Like, if I was the promoter, I wouldn't even have anything to say about Joshua Fury because that's a ways away. And then on top of that, he's talking about the Rona. So I wouldn't even have no words for commentary. I'd be like, Fury got to get past Wilder. That's our only focus. But they're still like playing this role like Joshua Fury is going to happen. They told you this year. You had credible, or what's supposed to be credible, boxing imprints that told you that Joshua Fury was a done deal, that the fight was signed, that the fight was definitely happening, that the fight was happening this year. Meanwhile, just a little YouTuber like myself told you, hey, we can't overlook Wilder. He has him in court. But they said, oh, no, don't worry. Old media told you, don't worry about none of that. Who cares? Wilder's not going to win anyway. That's what we're being told. Eddie Hearn said this. Bob Arum said Wilder had no legal recourse. And then now we're still at square one with the same people even talking about Joshua Fury. Listen, I'm going to say it like this. When it comes to the Anthony Joshua fight, mark this video down. Ego Stradamus is about to speak. I believe that this fight is ruined. It'll never, ever be what it was going to be had they pulled it off and got the fight off. I think something between now and then will happen to some of the parties involved to the point where it won't be an all British, undisputed, where Tyson Fury's undefeated. Tyson Fury got his WBO belt and lineal belt. Joshua got the other 3 belts. That's over. I really believe that. I really, truly believe that's over. You had the opportunity, or you said you had the opportunity and you didn't strike while the iron's hot. Something will happen. Either Fury loses or Joshua loses or looks vulnerable or they both lose. But the value of this fight, mark my words, will not remain intact, where Fury was coming off of a performance with the Wilder win and Joshua was coming off a knockout win over Kubrat Pulev, and they were going to go in for all the marbles. I think that those days are over. I think as it plays out, my prediction is it won't be for undisputed. They later fight, it's not going to be for undisputed. It's not going to be for all. Like, Joshua's in a tough fight with Usyk. He might look bad. He might lose in that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to be it's not going to have the momentum that they could have had if they were able to have gotten the fight off. Right? And that's what I firmly believe. We'll see how it all plays out. But it's just so shocking that the same culprits are even talking about this fight. They told you it was signed, the contracts were signed, and it was coming this year, and everything's looking good, and they could not deliver. How come? It's like some people got more butts than the person about to go to jail. You know what I mean? Why are we even talking about Joshua Fury? Like, it really is mind-boggling at this rate that they're even talking about this, and the UK fans are going along with it, accepting it, just accepting this notion of a fantasy fight. And I'll talk about this more in a future video, but I find this ironic too. Joshua became a champion really after Fury failed and went the downward spiral route and was doing drugs and stuff like that, right? Joshua could have been the one that resurrected Fury, but he wasn't. He never fought Fury. He never was pushing for Fury. But after Wilder fought Fury, because he couldn't get Joshua, then all of a sudden Fury's stock kind of rose because he rose from the dead in the 12th round and this and that. And then now all of a sudden Fury is back in the picture. And then now Joshua wants to make that fight. So all this, everything surrounds Deontay Wilder. Everything about this is Deontay Wilder's doing. Tyson Fury was a relic. It took for Wilder to resurrect Tyson Fury and make him even relevant again after what he did, all the weight gain and doing drugs and stuff like that. And they try to leave this man in the dust. So I am of the thinking that this fight with Fury Joshua will never happen under the pretense that they told you it was going to happen. Fury being undefeated, both coming off of wins and performances, I guess, that are good, and all the belts and undisputed and all that for the same amount of money. They said $150 million. Those days are over. Mark this video down. And they owe Wilder all the credit in the world because he resurrected that situation. Now Joshua wants to fight Tyson Fury. So amazing. And again, they keep talking about what's next, and you haven't even got past your next assignment. You know, ironic. It's ironic. It's like everything happens in steps. If you're losing weight and you're talking about losing 10 more pounds and you haven't even lost the first pound, you haven't lost the first 2 pounds. Why are you talking about losing 10 pounds if you haven't even accomplished step 1? That's what it is with Joshua Fury. You got Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn and all them still talking about this fight that they couldn't deliver. It's that simple. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I'm out. We